Now, if you've been leading for a while, you'll recognize this feeling. You're expected to decide, but you don't have all the information. And you know you'll probably never will. Early in our careers, we assume good decisions come from clarity, from complete data, from confidence, but experience teaches you something different. Most important decisions are made while things are still unclear. Now, the question then becomes, how do you decide without guessing, freezing, or overthinking? Now, let me share how my thinking has changed over time. Earlier, I used to ask, what's the right decision? Now I ask different questions. The first one is this: what happens if I delay this? Not in theory, but in reality. If delaying creates confusion, loss of trust, or slows momentum, then waiting is not an option. Now, let me make this clear. I've seen leaders delay giving directions on priorities because they wanted to be fair to everyone. So, nothing was officially deprioritized. The result? Teams kept working on everything. Deadlines slipped, frustrations built, not because the decision was wrong, but because there was no decision at all. So by the time clarity came, energy had already been lost. That's when you realize waiting doesn't protect trust, it actually damages it. Now, the second question I ask is this decision reversible? Now, many decisions feel permanent, very few actually are. So, if I can adjust course later, I don't need to be 100% confident now. That one realization removes a lot of pressure. Now, let me give you a practical example on this. I have been in situations where a team needed direction, not brilliance, not a perfect plan, just direction. But because I could see multiple outcomes, I hesitated. Now, what I learned was this: that people don't need leaders to be certain, they need leaders to be clear. Clear about intent, clear about priorities, clear about what we are trying next. Now, another shift that helped me was separating decision quality from decision timing. We obsess over getting decisions right. We talk far less about getting them on time. In hindsight, many regrets aren't about bad decisions. They're about decisions made too late. Clarity often shows up after moment, not before it. Now, here's a pattern I've noticed. Leaders often spend weeks refining a decision only to implement it at a point where people are already tired of the issue. Now, I've been in rooms where a decision was finally announced and the response was, we've already adjusted, so that's not required. Now, the decision wasn't wrong, it was just late. And late decisions rarely create momentum, they mostly create relief. And finally, there's one more filter I rely on now. I ask myself, what is actually mine to decide? As leaders grow, we start carrying responsibility far too much for morale, for reactions, for outcomes far beyond our control. Now, when everything feels like your responsibility, nothing feels safe to decide. Now, letting go of what isn't yours isn't indifference, it's maturity. So, if you're waiting for full clarity before deciding, you might be waiting forever. A very common situation is performance feedback. Leaders delay it because they feel responsible for how the other person might react. Will they feel demotivated? Will they disengage? But when you step back, your responsibility is actually quite simple. It's to be clear, it's to be fair, it's to be respectful. How someone emotionally processes that feedback over time, that part isn't fully in your control. Once you see that boundary, decisions stop feeling so heavy. Now, leadership, especially when things aren't clear, isn't about certainty. It's about judgment, and judgment comes from asking better questions, not from having better answers. So, if you're liking these episodes, do like and subscribe, and yes, do comment in the comment section below. And if you want, you can share these videos with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.